Hi everyone, and how are you guys doing today? How is everybody doing? I hope you're having a wonderful, fantastic October fall festive day today. It is just absolutely gorgeous here. It's very sunny today. It's a very beautiful, cool fall day. So I hope that it's beautiful wherever you are. If it's not, then maybe this video will make it be a little bit more sunny, make your day a little bit more brighter, or we hope that it will, because today we're going to be talking about the brand new two new Guerlain foundations that were launched overseas in Europe. This is the Guerlain Pure Gold Skin Rejuvenating Foundation, and we're going to be versing it against the Pure Gold Skin Matte, the sisters. So there's two of them. One is more geared more to radiance and one is geared to matte. So if you guys are interested and you want to see what my thoughts are these on, the information on these foundations, the wear, everything, final comments, what have you, then stick around and let's do it together. Just to let you guys know, I have been wearing both of these. I have wore these a couple of days, so I know and I have my feelings about them already, but I'm gonna still go over information with you, what little information that I have on these products, because I did, again, pick these up at Selfridges, which is overseas in London. It has not come out here in the US yet. I reached out to Guerlain and actually asked the company when they would be releasing the foundation in the US, and at that moment they said they did not know, because the majority of their foundations are discontinued. The only one that is left is L'Essential, and it is I know there's only, I think, a few of those shades on Sephora, and then they also have it on the Guerlain site, but that is it. They don't have any more of the other foundations. The L'Or, which I absolutely love, which we'll be doing a little bit of comparisons to a little bit later on, it has also been phased out. I think there may be one or two shades left on Sephora, but it has also been gone, which I actually love that foundation. I discovered that foundation this year, and unfortunately now it's already gone. So anyway, with that said, let's dive into just a little bit about the information about these. So US dollars, these retail both for $68. This is the Pure, I think Pure, I guess it's like a Parure Gold Skin Matte Foundation, No Transfer, High Perfection, 24 karat, infused with 24 karat gold and white Fione with an SPF 15. And this is what the box looks like. They look very similar. So this is what the one looks like, the Rejuvenating Radiance, and this is what the matte one looks like. I got this one in the shade 4N. This one comes in 18 shades, and it is for 68 doll hairs. And the US and then I think overseas, I think it may be just a little bit cheaper, but again, it will probably be different once it hits the States or when it does come over here. And you know, it could be the YSL one is already up, and I just reviewed that one. So this one could be coming in November, it could be coming in December, it could be coming in January, but it only has 18 shades in it. With that said, I think what they're doing is, my theory on it is, I feel like they are testing the market overseas first to see how it's going to sell, see what they need to improve, what they need to do before they actually do a national launch with it. I feel like once they do a national launch, there will be more shades included. I think there will be probably around 30 shades or so in each of these. So just keep that in mind. I think they're getting a feel of it first before they do a big national launch with it. I think they made a mistake with their L'Essential Matte whenever they did it, because it didn't last long, and they ended up pulling it very shortly after they launched it. So just keep that in mind too, that's probably what they're going to be doing. So at the moment right now, the shade range is not the best, but it's better in this one than it is actually in the matte one than it is actually in the radiant one. I'm sorry, I have the box backward. And by the way too, I have my windows open, so there may be some, I live near an airport, so sometimes it does get noisy. I might have to close them a little bit later, but it's warm in here. It's cool today outside, but in my room it's really hot with all the lights and everything, to just keep that in mind too. But anyway, this one is, we'll go over the matte one first, and then we'll go over the Rejuvenating. But this one is saying, because there's not a lot on the site, guys. So on the Selfridges website, there's not a lot of information. There's some pictures and some shade pictures, and that's about it. That's all there is. But it's saying that in the name of beauty, Guerlain commits and acts for a more beautiful, sustainable world. So they're doing running just like the Dior, because Guerlain is owned by Louis Vuitton. So they own Dior, they own Guerlain, Givenchy, they own all of those as well. So they're all going through this whole sustainable thing as well. And you know, it's as the bee is the sentinel of their whole program. It's formulated with naturally derived functional ingredients and pigments. It is a 24-hour flawless coverage, long wear matte finish, sweat proof, heat resistant, no transfer, no touch-ups needed. It is a 24-hour care of white peony extracts and selected for skin caring and skin perfecting properties, long-lasting comfort, age-defying action, even complexion radiance, and strengthens the skin barrier. It has the 24 gold radiance of the rosy mother of pearl. Adorned with a hint of 24 karat gold for a natural, vibrant, and radiant complexion. So this is what this is for in, and this is what the bottle looks like. So it's more of a matte version. It's got that matte glass, just like the Dior Forever matte. I feel like, and just like some of the other ones that's come out recently, it has more of the matte bottle. If it's matte, if it's more radiant, it has more of the lighter bottle. Now, the Rejuvenating only comes in 12 shades. So the darkest shade in the Rejuvenating is 3N, and the matte, it goes all the way up to, I think it's like 8N or 9N. So 3N is the darkest shade. So this one is way too light for me. I do have to go in and mix a little bit of color with it. So I have to mix with one of my little pigments, my little makeup pigments, where I mix together to give it a little bit more color. By the way, I have not forgot about you guys. You guys did really want me to make a video about mixing pigments in to make your foundation lighter, darker. Same thing with your concealer, to save you some money and to show you how to do it. We will have that video soon, I promise. I have not forgotten about it. It's just been so many launches lately. I've just not really been able to. When I film, it's been like trying to get all this stuff reviewed and get this out to you guys. Or if you want my opinion on it, I'm not sure. There's maybe 1 or 2 videos up about this particular foundation, the matte. There's not very many out about the Rejuvenating. So I'm gonna probably be maybe one of the first ones to do this one. But I'm really, really interested in it. It is a really beautiful foundation. Again, it's saying all of the same things that the other one said. I won't go through all of those. I'll just say that, you know, it is saying that it gives flawless coverage, long wearing, rejuvenating radiance. So instead of the matte, it gives the radiance. It's a sweat proof and heat resistant. It has the white peony in it, just like the other one, but it gives more of an even complex, and it also helps strengthen the barrier. It also has the 24-hour gold complex in it as well. And both of these are in a 1.1, by the way, and this is 3N, just to show you the box. The box is really beautiful. I love the packaging. I love the way that they're going, because before it was, I think the box was a little bit more goldish. It had more of a gold appearance, but this is what the bottle looks like. It's really, really beautiful. But again, it's got more of the radiant kind of packaging to it. It's got that really pretty glossy packaging, where the other one has more of the matte packaging. So this one, I will definitely have to mix with a little bit of pigment when we use it. I might even have to do it with the 4N, because 4N is just a little bit light too. But this one has a 20 in it. The other one has a 15. So keep that in mind too. Sunscreen changes a lot. It makes a big difference whenever you're using foundation. It changes everything in the game. That's why I normally like foundation that doesn't really have a sunscreen in it. But just keep that in mind whenever we're using it. But we're going to do one on one side of the face, and we're going to do one on the other. And with that said, I think that's it pretty much. I think I give you guys enough information about it. You know, they're just not here in the US yet, but you can get them on Selfridges if you're very interested. If you have not checked out their website, it is really cool. You can actually get a membership, and they will ship everything for free. And I think it's like $50 for a full year. So, and you can get a lot of things over there a lot cheaper. So this will be cheaper over there than it is here. So, and without paying for shipping, it really is $65 is a lot better, because I think probably when it gets here, it will be around the $70, $75 range, maybe even the $80 range, because they always raise everything up about $15 here. So anything with that said, guys, let's quit jabbing and let's just get in and put these foundations on my face and see what we think. Okay, guys, so I think I'm not too crusty. I pulled you guys in a little bit closer so you could see me a little bit closer. I moved my table to the side today, so therefore we would have a little bit more room and I could pull you guys up a little bit closer so you could see everything. I have not put primer or anything on. I just have my skincare on. I did do a little bit of mascara, so my eyelashes wouldn't look so light, so you could guys actually see my eyes. You can see I'm a little splotchy lately. You know, I did a retinol last night, so I'm a little splotchy this morning, but other than that, I mean, it's okay. We'll get that covered up in just a minute. But first of all, let me go into the L'Or. This is the L'Or Guerlain. This is their primer. The Guerlain has like 1 or 2 primers. This one is an OG. This is like probably my 3rd bottle of this stuff. It does have a lot of fragrance in it, but if you guys are used to French products or the Guerlain family, they always have a lot of fragrance in it. These foundations also have a lot of fragrance in it, so keep that in mind. If you are not into fragrance and you do not like fragrance, do not mess with these foundations because they have a lot more than the Lancôme, Chanel, and more Dior. Guerlain always has a lot more fragrance than most foundations, so just keep that in mind. It's in their lipsticks, it's in a lot of their stuff, but they're a perfume house, so therefore they just have a lot more. They typically just have a little bit more fragrance in their products. But we've got that on. It's nice and it's got a nice tack to it. It's a really beautiful primer. If you don't have a problem with fragrance, I definitely would give it a check out. It is on the Sephora website. It's a nice little product to maybe pick up on the sale because she's a pretty penny. I think she's around $70. So she's not a cheap primer, but it's a really good one, and it lasts you a very, very long time. You only need a little bit of it. A little bit goes a long way. So to start off with, we're going to start off with the matte. We're going to go on this side with the matte. If I remember, I don't really have to mix this one as much. This one blends with me a little bit more, but I will show you what the color looks like. That's what the color looks like. This one is, it has a really unique kind of formula to it. I've been washing my hands a lot, guys, so please forgive me if it looks like it probably won't match me, but it will. But it looks like on my hand, I've been washing my hands so much lately. They are just they're very light at this point. But see how pretty, it's just it gives like a really smooth finish to the skin. I'm going to take my Sonia Kouchik, which is what I've been applying it with. I really like using these foundations with the sponge. I've tried them both with the brush and with the sponge. I like the sponge better. But see, it just blends much better with my neck. This one, 4N was also the one that I used in the L'Or, but L'Or was still a little bit light, but now this one does a really good job. It's really not bad. I'm usually not crazy about a neutral foundation either, but this one's not bad. It does a really good job. I mean, it's really pretty, and you can always warm it up. Again, like I said, if you want to mix with me, especially if I want to mix like a little bit more of my color to make it more lighter or more darker or whatever, or my pigments, my makeup pigments to just darken and lighten foundation, I can just do that. That is the glory of having one of those kits. And when I get to it, and we'll show you guys how to do that because it is really cool and it does make a difference. I'm going to take just a little bit more because that one was 1 pump. This is about another pump. So it takes about, I'd say probably about a good to give a nice light medium coverage. You probably need almost 2 because if you use a sponge, this one is more matte and it will absorb into the sponge a lot more. But it is really a nice, pretty foundation. It goes on really pretty. It is a matte, but it's got that satin finish almost that you can kind of see a little bit of glow in it. I do over moisturize a lot, so that may be another reason why you may be seeing. And then the L'Or has a lot of glow because of the 24-hour karat gold spectacles in it. It will make that look more glowy. Okay, so just remember that this one does have an SPF 15 in it. As far as I know, I don't remember it saying anything about it being oil-free. I couldn't find anything about it being oil-free, but it may be. It's just that they just overseas, they don't really put every single thing on the box like they do here in America. So maybe when it comes in America, the sunscreen may be a little bit more, or it could be, and you know, it may have that on the box. It feels like it's more of an oil-free product. It feels like it's a little bit more water-based, but it is a really beautiful foundation. See how pretty it is? It's very pretty. It looks really nice. Again, I probably would add maybe a little bit more pigment to it, but with the sunscreen. But again, this one has a 15, the other one has a 20. It's really nice. It's not too bad. It's not too bad off of my, because you know, I gotta use sunscreen every day, and then I've been doing retinals and stuff now. So now my face is getting very, very light. And then, you know, with my hair being so white, or, you know, got that more blonde look going on, it definitely makes me look a lot more pale too. But yeah, it's really pretty. It's a really nice foundation. So now that we got through this one, let's go into this one. Okay guys, so before I start, I just wanted to kind of do a little comparison real quick with this one. The L'Or, this is the Lingerie de Peau. I call them the L'Or, listen at me, it's Lingerie de Peau. The Lingerie de Peau, I've been calling it L'Or all this time, I'm such a dingbat. So this is what the Lingerie de Peau looked like. It had an SPF 20 in it. It and the new one look very similar. So if you see the packaging looks similar, it's got that really shiny bottle. It has see the difference between the packaging. This is more gold. This used to be more black, and it just had more of the black writing on it, where this one has more of the gold writing on it. This one reminds me a lot, this other one reminds me a lot of this one. So I'm going to show you, this one is in the shade, I think it's in 4N. No, this one's in the shade 4C. Sorry, it's in 4C. And this is what it looks like. That's what it looks like in 4C. You can see it's pretty, it's kind of pretty light. It's got a little bit more peach to it. And then this one is the shade that I got, which is the darkest shade right now in the line. It is a little sad that they didn't bring out at least, you know, at least up to maybe 16 or 17, or at least just do the 18 shade that the other one is in. But evidently the matte might sell better than the, I don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind it, guys. I really don't. But it is a little kind of ridiculous. But I mean, I have a feeling they've got a rhyme and a reason for stuff sometimes whenever it comes to marketing and stuff, because it's so expensive to put everything out. But I just feel like if you're going to do a foundation, you might as well do more shade than that. But this is what 4N or 3N looks like. See, it's a lot more yellow, where the 4C was a little bit more cooler. You know, so it's definitely a little bit more lighter. So I'm going to add just a little bit of pigment to it to make it just a little bit more color. And a little bit more of the pigment in with the foundation to give it just a little bit more color. And it looks much better. It's going in much, much better than it would without it being, because it doesn't, I've tried it just as the 3N, and it is very light, and it kind of sits in my pores a little bit. And I don't like that, because usually if you get your foundation way too light, it'll sit in your pores. And I don't like that. So adding a little bit of the pigment in with it really helps. I mixed in just a little bit of red and a little bit of blue and just a tad bit of yellow. It's still not as yellow as this side. This one has a lot more, neutral has a little bit more yellow in it than pink. But I just wanted, I really like adding in a little bit more blue and a little bit more red in my skin tone, because, you know, I'm being Cherokee Indian. I have a little bit more pink and red kind of comes through my skin more. So I kind of like that a little bit. I don't like it to be too yellow or too warm. But I do like that sometimes, depending on the foundation. But yeah, see how it looks really pretty. It's got a really pretty glow to it. Let's do another pump of it so we can get just a little bit more. I've ever used pigments before. It does not change the texture of the makeup or anything. That's the beauty of doing mixing, when you mix in a little bit of something. Sometimes when you need to do that, like if your shade is, like if your skin is, like your foundation is too dark and you need to lighten it, or if you need to do something to it, that's the beauty of having it. That's what's so cool about it. The same thing with your concealer, you know, whatever, if you want to, that's the beauty of having pigments. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And I'm going to show you guys how to do it, because really it's very, very easy. And I don't have a rhyme or reason on how I do it. I just do it. It's just something I just pick up, and I see the colors and I just know what to kind of mix. But yeah, see it blends in really good. It matches this one pretty decently. But yeah, it looks really pretty. This one, I feel like this one has like a little bit more coverage. I feel like this one is a little bit more lighter, but I just did like maybe a pump and a half, maybe. I didn't do a ton. But you can build it up a little bit more. We'll add like a little bit more just to get a little bit more coverage, tab it more, just so you guys can see it. Because it does sit down nicely. It does have that really beautiful glow. So if you are more on the drier side, you would enjoy this one a lot more. I definitely wouldn't mess with this one if you're more oily. I would definitely probably stick to more of this side. So sorry about the airplanes. It's wonderful whenever you live near an airport, isn't it? And sometimes they feel like they're actually, deep they feel like they're actually coming into the house sometimes. They're so intense. That's what they look like. Both sides, this is the matte. And then this is the radiance. And you can see that really pretty underglow with the radiance. It does not settle in any of my lines or wrinkles. It does not sit in any of my pores, either side. The YSL that I just tried, it seems to, if I don't emulsify it a little bit more or give it like a little bit more slip or a little bit more moisture, it will kind of set, and if I do it with a brush, it will kind of sit in my pores some, so I have to use a sponge. But this one does not. This one goes in really beautifully. I'm trying to think of what it may remind me of that's got like that matte texture to it but doesn't sit in your pores. This one reminds me a lot of the Forever Matte, or the Forever Matte by Dior. That's what this one reminds me of. And this one reminds me a lot of the Dior Skin Glow. But it looks more, the Skin Glow I do not like. I did not like the Skin Glow. It's not one of my favorite foundations. I love the Capture Total. It actually, it kind of feels like the Skin Glow going on, but it gives the effect of the Capture Total more than the Skin Glow does in Dior. You guys have seen both of the sides. You've seen what they both kind of look beside each other. There's really, and because I blend so well anyway, they don't really look too much different. If I powdered it a lot more, you would be able to see more of a difference. But for me, this is the way that I like to blend both of them. You could use, I mean, either one of them would go great with any skin type, I think. But let's go all through that through final thoughts. Let me just throw in some lipstick and maybe just a little bit of concealer, and then we'll come back and I'll just give you my final word on it and kind of let you guys know what I think about the whole thing and how the wear time and everything goes with it, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys, we are back, and we are wearing our beautiful and one of my dearest friends, Tara Lynn, her Bare Nectar lipstick. I absolutely love this color. This is by Christian Audette, and I paired it with the Lisa Eldridge Cinnabar lip liner. It's gorgeous, giving us that gorgeous fall vibe. So she just reminded me, I was watching a video of hers, that you can pair this with a beautiful fall lipstick and get a really good lip look with it. So if you guys have this lipstick, if you picked it up over the summer, it is such a beautiful color. And if you haven't, you need to walk but don't run. This is one of the best colors of the year as far as I'm concerned. It's a very, very good lipstick, so definitely check it out. But anyway, back into the review and what we were here for, to hear my final thoughts on both of these foundations. So both of these foundations, guys, are just beautiful, beautiful foundations. Is it a surprise this year? I mean, really, I mean, to be honest with you, this year has been, like I said in the previous video with the YSL, it has been the year of foundation. And the thing is that there's been so many beautiful, good foundations, not a lot of bad ones. So, I mean, dang, it's going to be really hard at the end of the year to figure out which ones are better, because every one of them just seems to get better and better and better every new one that I try. But with these two particular ones, that is just the case. It's like they're both really beautiful foundations. One is just more matte. One has just got a little bit more matteness to it, but it's more of that matte, like more almost like that radiant matte, so it's not extreme matte. But this one would be geared more towards a little bit more towards a normal to oily, more normal combination. Normal to dry, could definitely use it. I love the Forever Matte and the Dior. I think it's wonderful. I've used this and absolutely love it. I think it gives a really kind of an underglow to the skin, and I think it looks really beautiful. This one does too. This one is just a little bit more emollient, so if you're more on the dry side, I would probably pick this one up. The only thing is this one has 18 shades, which is not the best shade range right now at the moment, and this one has 12 shades. So the whole debacle with that is trying to pick up a shade that would work for you. If you are more on the darker side, this one would be out for the moment. However, I do feel that once they do launch it nationally, they will have at least, you know, anywhere from 25 to 30 shades, which is about a typical Guerlain launch. YSL, you know, sometimes a lot of those French companies, that's a typical launch. Not to say they don't need to go broader, and they don't need to be much broader and have a much much darker shades for many people. They should. However, you know, I think they're test marketing it right now overseas. So I think they're trying to get the feel on it, what people are saying, feedback on it, all of that kind of stuff before they launch it nationally, before they spend a lot of money to launch it nationally. I think they're trying to make sure that they correct any mistakes that they need to make and all of that good stuff. With that said, it is a typical price point for Guerlain. The price range, you get a 1.1 ounce in both of them, which is a little bit, you're getting a little bit more in each bottle than normal foundation. One has a 15 in the matte, one has an SPF 20 in the other. The only really difference between the two of them, guys, really is the fact that one is just a little bit more matte and one is a little bit more dewy, a little bit more radiant. The radiant one, however, one does remind me a lot of the Lingerie de PEAU. I feel like it's almost the dupe for this one. If you were using this one and you absolutely love it, you will absolutely love this one. It is very the same. The bottles look almost the same. The texture, I think they really realized that they didn't do enough advertising with this one, I think. And I think when they do launch this one, they will do it justice. I just think right now they just don't have the shades for it. But this one was such a good foundation. I feel like they are very identical. This one was just a little bit more runnier. This one is just a little bit more thicker, I feel like. Just personally, I think I love both of them. I think they both feel really great, but I do really kind of prefer the new version. I really do like the way it is, but they both have smells in them though. Just remember that it is a Guerlain foundation. It is French, so there is fragrance in there. The fragrance doesn't really bother me much. I'm used to French foundations. I'm used to the luxury foundations and I love them. So smell does not bother me, but just keep that in mind. If you are allergic to those kind of sort of things, or if smells bother you, keep that in mind. Talk a little bit about the longevity of the product. So I have worn these both on different days, kind of played with them, you know, played with this one with powder. I played with this one with powder, you know, different concealers, different primers, different everything with it. I will say it pairs the best with the L'Or primer. Both of them do. I just feel like it did a better job with that one. They both have lasted really well. I had this one on one day for like 18 hours. My day starts so early, and it lasted so long. And I mean, by the end of the day, my skin looked absolutely beautiful still. I will say this one, it gives a 24-hour claim on this one as well. I feel like this one doesn't wear as long as this one does. I feel like this one it gets really, really emollient throughout the day. So you will get a lot more, I would say, glow by the end of the day. But if you're dry, you will love that. It won't bother you at all. You will probably embrace the radiance. Where this one just controls the radiance a little bit more. It's not as radiant, but it still gives a beautiful glow on the skin. It just doesn't look as emollient as this one does by the end of the day. It also depends on how much skincare you put on, you know, what you put on, how much you put on, and all that good stuff too. I just overdo things a little bit. So I did notice that I was very emollient, which did not bother me at the end of the day with this one more than this one. I feel like this one just doesn't last as long as this one does. I feel like this one lasts a little bit longer. It gives a little bit more longevity as far as the product goes. Each time that I wore this one, because I don't know if it's just because it's more radiant or what have you, I feel that it does I would say a good 14, 13 hours. It stays on a good amount of time. I didn't get any separation. There was no sitting in my pores, no sitting in my lines, none of that. It just gave a little bit more glow. And the product was still on there. It didn't dissipate or anything like that. The same thing with this one. It never got into my pores. It never got into my lines. It never really made me look like I looked too old, or it made me look, even with or without powder, with or without spray. You know, I feel like with spray and powder for both of the foundations, they do wear longer. They do look better whenever you do wear it with a little bit of powder and a little bit, I mean, even if you just set this one with just a little bit of powder, you don't have to set with much. You know, I've said it with different ones. I've said it with the Charlotte Tilbury. I've said it with the Estee Lauder Double Wear. I've said it with Glowish. I've said it with the Makeup by Mario. I've said them with many different types of powders for both of them, just depending on the finish that you want and what you want. But if you do just set it with a little bit of powder and a little bit of spray and just push it into the skin, it does seem to last a little bit longer. Both of them do. But all in all, guys, I mean, I'm really impressed with both of these. I think it looks beautiful on the skin. I think the longer that they sit on the skin, the better that they look. I just feel that throughout the day, when you first put it on, it looks really beautiful, but I feel like longevity and beautification of the product comes out a lot more as you continue on throughout the day. Again, just remember that the more rejuvenating side is going to look a little bit more dewier by the end of the day. It's going to come through, your oils are going to come through a little bit more than it does with the matte side, but both of them I feel would be great for both skin types. The only one I wouldn't recommend for both skin types would be the rejuvenating from oily skin. If you're more oilier, I don't recommend it. I will also leave down below Night Star Beauty. Her name is Maria. She has also reviewed the matte foundation. She's not reviewed, I don't think she's reviewed the rejuvenating one, but she has reviewed this one. I will leave her review down there. She's a little bit more on the oilier side, and she lives in New Zealand, and they are going through a climate change right now because they're going into spring, summer, where we are going into fall, winter. So if you want to see a beautiful person that she is, and you want to see a beautiful video on it and get another opinion on it, if you are a little bit more oilier and you want to, and you're very interested in more of the matte version, I definitely would check that out. If you've recently watched my YSL foundation, which I will link up here, if you guys want to watch my video of that one, this one and the YSL are a little similar. The YSL is a little bit more thicker. I feel like it's a little bit more coverage, and I will say that it is a little bit more. I have to work with it a little bit more to make sure that it doesn't settle in anything. But I will be honest with you, with the YSL, I would typically normally mix it with another foundation. Even though it is now a luminous matte, I probably would mix it with something a little bit more emollient, maybe something that's like this one, the Rejuvenating. I probably would mix it together because it will sit in my pores if I put it on directly, because it's a little bit more matte than it is luminous to me. But both of them are beautiful foundations. If you're looking for a beautiful matte foundation, I know the YSL is currently getting ready to go up on Sephora. It is there. It will be probably by the end of this week if you're watching this video. So if you're interested and you want to check it out, and you can kind of look at the colors and everything on there. The only thing in the difference, just to remember, in the YSL, in my video, I was wearing the one from Europe and it had the 39 SPF. The new one here in America has the 30. So that's the only difference that I saw with it. The price point is a little bit more than it is also overseas. If you guys want to check out the Selfridges website, I will leave all that down below as well. And with that said, guys, we are finished with this video. Thank you so much for being here. If you've stayed here this long, if you have, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you as part of our little family. We have a great family here, and I would love to have you. If you didn't enjoy the video, then I just appreciate you dropping by, and taking the time out to watch the video. And also, just a couple little things that I always say at the end of every video, and that is, remember, please be safe, be strong, be proud, stand tall, love yourself. Remember to tell somebody that you love them today, because life is way, way too short. And also be kind to someone. A little kindness can go off a long way. And, sometimes a little smile, a little something, a little thank you, a little hello, that can make someone's day. And also remember to, have some fun today. Smile today, laugh today, because it just will make you feel better and will make you a much better person, I feel like. So anyway, take care, guys. We will see you again in the next episode. So peace out and see you soon. Bye.